Matt, can you speak to the importance of mentorship, perhaps from a biblical or a theological perspective, and a practical one too? Why does it matter so much that mentorship is embedded in your work with youth, and perhaps even how you've seen that emerge in a holy way through Columbia Future Forge and your work there?
Yeah, when I started what I do at the initial social enterprise, right, the teenage landscaping company, uh, mentorship was not at the forefront of my mind. It was actually getting kids ready for spiritual and practical adulthood. But interestingly, what was sitting in my back pocket was that my church had gone out into the community as a part of kind of its missional identity to figure out what were the needs in our community. And what we found was there were places that had homeless ministry care. There were places that had after school programs. There were places that this, that. I mean, we went to fire chiefs. We went to the mayor. We went to our congresswoman. We went around the community just to say, what do we hear emerging? And some people, we had like a sociologist that went to our church that helped us do this. And what we heard was that one of the biggest holes or biggest needs was there wasn't enough mentors. Specifically in our community, we heard that actually male students particularly needed mentorship and were very much lacking significant adults in their lives often. And so our church didn't do anything with that, but it sat in the back of my mind. And once this started, it was like, yeah, we could totally solve that problem and do that. The reason that it appealed to me at a practical level also was that I had a sense that if you're going to reach out to students with the idea that there is a God out there, in an increasingly secular and very material world, I don't mean materialistic, but if in a world in which I can only believe in confidently what I can touch and grab hold of, that the only way I could figure out to open up hearts and minds to the idea that there may be a personal God out there that cares for you is by having the space to get far enough into the details or the minutia of your life, as I would say, and show deep care for that minutia, that you might actually begin to believe there's a sacrificial God out there who cares about that minutia and cares about you in detail and on the whole. And mentorship seemed like a great way to do that. It was about maximizing relational time to show care. And the reason that makes sense theologically is because we serve a God who does not love us at a distance. Like we serve a God who incarnates into the minutia of life, the visceral experience of life from birth to death. And so that to me, like the incarnation itself models mentorship. What Jesus does with the disciples is mentorship. So I didn't I actually worked my way backwards to the theology of why it made sense. It intuitively made sense to me up front and practically made sense to me. And then I was like, this is absolutely our theology. No wonder this feels like it works.
Thank you.
Yeah.